What is up, everybody? Pumpkin Hydra here with a Pokemon team of greatness. The greatness. I'm excited to show it to you today. We're running an Eviolite Scyther, which I think is being slept on right now, partially because the Isle of Armor is still new, and there's a bunch of Pokemon that have come back to the game that everybody's excited about. So we're going to try and get some work in with this Scyther before everybody else gets to see him. Try and show him the way, maybe a little bit. We'll see what happens. We're going to run ourselves a Follow Me Clefable. This is an excellent little Pokemon. The thickness is just incredible. Is quickly becoming one of my favorite Pokemons out of nowhere. We're super excited to see it get the use that it's getting. We've got ourselves a Cleric style Arcanine. We utilize Intimidate, we utilize Snarl so that we can weaken our opponents. We've got ourselves the Weakness Policy so that we can increase that attack stat and increase that special attack stat whenever we live through one of the super effective hits that come in on us. We're running a Serena so that we can use that Queenly Majesty ability. We really like that. You can tech it in. If you can call the switch in for them using priority moves, it's really good. Primarily in this team, we were running Indeedee in that slot before, but Indeedee sets up the psychic terrain, and there's expanding force running around in the meta, and that's the last thing we want, is to set up the psychic terrain for our opponents when we're not using that move. We're running a Haxorus, my personal favorite Pokemon. You will all see a whole lot of this Pokemon. I'll be bringing him probably in every team you see me run. If you don't like that, too bad. Atlas or Haxorus is my favorite Pokemon. He reigns supreme, and we're going to show y'all why. And then we've got ourselves a Gothitelle, who we've named Typhoid Mary. This is our counter to a lot of the Intimidators that are coming out. We do not want either of our physical attackers to get intimidated, because then they don't do the damage that they want to do. So bringing a competitive Pokemon, getting that +2 to its special attack boost, anytime Intimidate comes off or anytime any of its stats are lowered, it's going to be really big. We've built ours thick, and we've given it the Adrenaline Orb, so that way when it takes that Intimidate, it's going to get a speed boost as well. It won't make it the fastest thing on the board, but it'll give us a little bit of an edge. So we're going to hop into some games, see what we can show you, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Mario. Good luck to you, Mario. Volcarona, Coalossal, Charizard, Gengar, Gardevoir, and Snorlax. So he's a fire-heavy team. Pretty fire-heavy team. No Intimidators. So we do not want to bring Serena this time, and we kind of don't want to bring Icarus this time. So I think we are going to lead with Haxorus, Arcanine. We'll go with Clefable and Gothitelle. I think that's good crew. I think that gives us the coverage that we need to cover down on what they probably bring in. I don't know what they'll lead with. I imagine it'll probably be that Coalossal and the Charizard, maybe? That's a big maybe. That's what's so exciting about this next season. You don't know what you're going to see yet. You get to see a whole bunch of new stuff. Volcarona and Gengar. Very interesting. It's a shiny Volcarona. Alright. We're going to jump into Dynamaxing Haxorus right away, so that we can start deleting things. Now, Volcarona can learn, what is it called? Quiver Dance. I don't really want to be dealing with the Volcarona with the Quiver Dance. We want to get rid of that Gengar right away, because Gengar can be really strong. Volcarona is a special attacker, if I'm remembering correctly, so we really need to be snarling right now with our Arcanine. Our Arcanine is a Cleric, so that means for us that he's affecting the battlefield more than just doing damage. So he can Intimidate when he comes in, he can Snarl so that he can lower special attacks. He's got that extreme speed, so that we can try and get those little bits extra off. The Max Quakes can come off into that Gengar. Hopefully we get the KO here. Yeah, we do. No Focus Sash on the Gengar. We get that special D boost on both of our guys. It's going to be really helpful against that Volcarona. Snarl goes up. Chip damage on the Volcarona. Ooh, it was a critical hit. -1 to its special attack stat. There's the Quiver Dance. It's good. So he's faster now, but his special attack stat's in the same place that it was at the beginning of the game. Charizard. Shiny Charizard even. Alright. So we want to go for a Max Quake again, because we want another special boost. Special D boost. And we're going to swing that into the Volcarona. We might be able to do enough to get rid of it. I think we can, but we're going to go for another Snarl. Now we want to get that Charizard lower. I'll lower that, get some stab damage out on that. It's also really good because it gets rid of Focus Sashes, if there are any out there. Shiny Charizard in a Luxury Bone, that's pretty cool. And it's G-Max! Right, he's going to be setting up that G-Max Wildfire, I would say, most likely. Unless he's going for an Airstream to make sure that he outspeeds my Haxorus. There's the second Quiver Dance, going for that +1 into its special attack. He's got +2 in his special E and +2 in his speed right now. Max Wormwind, trying to lower the damage that we're going to be taking. It's quite alright. His Charizard is also Life Orb. Battle of the Titans. This will give me another boost to my special defense. Not quite a kill. And the Snarl will come up. That should do the rest of the damage that we need to get rid of that Volcarona, and it'll also make that Charizard a little bit weaker so that we have a chance to live the next hit. We didn't kill the Volcarona. We will be extreme speeding that Volcarona to get it off the board. I think we go for the Max Wormwind for stab damage since our attack is at -1 right now. Extreme Speed will KO even with the attack drop. I believe he's at such low health it doesn't matter. Deleted. Well done. Another Max Wormwind. This is at -2, so it is a good thing we went for that stab attack. And we do live the next hit. We won't be doing much damage with Haxorus right now because of his attack stat being cut in half, but that's quite alright. We've still got 2 full Mons in the back, and we're putting in work on his team very consistently. There's good chip damage. We got him down to half. And he needs to waste his last turn of Dynamax on one of my 2 Pokemon in order to get the rest of the damage out. It'll be wasting that turn. There's the Colossal. The shiny Colossal, very cool. Alright, so we are going to go for an Earthquake here. I don't think that we'll get it up, but we're going to protect with the RK9. Try and mitigate whatever that Colossal is going to do. Now the big question is, do we get the attack out? He's going for the Max Wildfire. Yep, he wanted to make sure that Haxorus got deleted. That's quite alright. Haxorus did more than enough in this fight. And we'll be able to throw Clefable out next turn. There's the Rock Slide. Alright, so we should be able to live a Rock Slide with our RK9, which will be very helpful. We're going to draw the aggro from the Charizard's attack over to our Clefable, and this will give our RK9 a stab boosted attack. It's going to be Snarl because we don't want to hit that Colossal with a fire attack. I believe that water or fire will activate his steam engine, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to go for a big Snarl. Again, we need to get hit with that Rock Slide. We're going to outspeed, so we won't get the bonus until next turn, but that's quite alright. Hurricane off the Charizard. Decent damage. Clefable's confused. Snarl coming up. More decent chip damage on that Charizard, and a little bit of chip damage on that Colossal. Here's the Bulldoze. That's pretty good for us because that's a weak ground attack. So that'll proc the weakness policy, and we didn't have to take a whole lot of damage from it. I think we'll still outspeed. That Colossal. Clefable has Magic Guard, so it doesn't take any damage from things that are not attacks. That's one of the reasons that he's so good. He won't take any of the G-Max Wildfires. He won't take poison damage. He doesn't take burn damage. He doesn't take Stealth Rocks damage. It's a good all-around Pokemon. Doesn't take curse damage. That's another big one. Fight through, Clefable, fight through. Awesome, good job. Another big Hurricane, and we live through it again. Alright, big Snarl coming out this time. More chip damage off on that Colossal. Not quite what we wanted. Here's a big Rock Slide. Both Pokemon live that hit fairly easily. I'm willing to bet that his weakness policy is on that Colossal. Alright, so since he's doing attacks that hit both targets, we're going to get a life dew off to mitigate the damage that he is doing to us. And we're just going to keep snarling. Next turn, we'll protect on the Arcanine, and we'll go for a Charm on the Clefable. If the Clefable gets its attack off this turn, excellent. Hopefully next turn we'll snap out of that confusion, but I think we've got this game pretty well wrapped up. But you always want to respect your opponent down to the very last turn. The game is not over until your opponent is out of Pokemon or the timer is up. We'll live from both of those. Ooh, critical hit on Spookifer. No damage from that G-Max Wildfire. It's just a beautiful thing. Alright, we're going to hit that Charm. And we're going to go for a Protect. Battle was cancelled. GG's to our opponent. That was an excellent game. Lucario, Toxtricity, Corviknight, Tyranitar, Dragapult, and Haxorus. Very interesting. So we're gonna bring our Haxorus 2. We will bring Athena because he has Corviknight and Lucario. And we will also bring Icarus. Could be good late game. Situationally, but Icarus could be good late game. Alright. Good luck to you, Dave. Lucario and Toxtricity. So we're going to try and dumpster that Toxtricity immediately. We're going to click the Follow Me button on Clefable, and we are going to Dynamax into the Max Quake. Straight into that Toxtricity. Try and get ourselves a specialty boost. And if he's Dynamaxing, this means that we're the fastest thing on the board because we're Dynamaxing first. Now, since he has two big dragons, we need to get as far ahead right now as we can. We need to put out as much damage as possible and boost ourselves up as much as we can. And we're the only one Dynamaxing. And we are fastest. So unless he's got a Focus Sash, this Max Quake should put out Toxtricity. Deleted. So this is going to give us a special defense boost. It doesn't necessarily matter against that Lucario, but Lucario could be either. There's a Meteor Mash. Big damage into Clefable, but it's the thickness and survives. That's what we needed to see. There's a Corviknight. I don't think any of our guys out right now have berries. We're going to follow me again, and I think we're going to try and dump this Lucario. He has damage done to it, and we are faster than him, so unless he Dynamaxes that Lucario, I think we can put it out. He will be Dynamaxing. And he is Gigantamaxing the Corviknight. Well, this is good for us because that means that he isn't Dynamaxing one of his other big bad boys later. There's the Extreme Speed. We do pass away from this. It is Extreme Speed. It's a good move on our opponent, but we should still be able to kill this Lucario. Alright, Lucario is down. It's another specialty boost. Doesn't matter against Corviknight, but we are at +2 in our special defense right now. Corviknight's going to go for +1 in its defense. Minimal damage into Haxorus. That's good for us. That defense boost isn't necessarily good for us, but we do have Athena. If we can get rid of him right now, we're in a good spot. There's the Intimidate. That's going to bounce back onto our Arcanine, but we don't care. No, because he's unnerved, not what is it, Magic Armor. So that's actually extremely helpful for us. We're going to Flamethrower into the Corviknight slot. And we are going to max Wyrmwind into the T-Tar to lower both of their attacks. Big max Wyrmwind coming out. Excellent damage, and that's going to minus an attack stat for both of them. Big Flamethrower energy, not going to be quite enough. He went for the Max Steel Spike into Atlas. We're going to live that hit. Still going for those big defense boosts. Now we're going to hope for a Rock Slide. Nope, an Earthquake is even better. Athena's going to live and get the Weakness Policy proc. This will make our Flamethrower next turn even stronger. But that's going to be it for our Dynamax turns from Haxorus. Hit big Flamethrower on that Corviknight, and we are going to go for an Iron Tail on the Tyranitar. Iron Tail comes out, no miss, big damage. T-Tar goes down. Rocky Helmet. Alright, and Athena comes out with big Flamethrower energy, +2, puts down the Gigantamax Corviknight. It's an excellent victory. We take those wins. We take those wins all the way to the bank. It was a good game, Dave. Good luck to you into the future. Ooh. We've got an Alolan Persian, a Volcarona. We've got Duraludon, Luxray, a Milotic, and a Togekiss. So this team screams it wants to see Scyther come out to play. So we're gonna bring Scyther, and since he's got Luxray, we're gonna bring our Intimidate counter. We won't be bringing our own Intimidate because we don't want to deal with Milotic. We will go for, let's see anybody with priority that we're too worried about. So we'll bring Clefable and we'll bring Haxorus in the back for a late game sweep. Now if we can, we want to try and save our Dynamax for Haxorus because he really likes to be big. But if we have to go for an early game advantage, we can use it on Scyther. We're hoping that our opponent leads with that Luxray, and that Luxray doesn't have guts, that it has Intimidate. That's the plan. Good luck to you, Machi. And we see Luxray and Milotic coming out to play. Is he Intimidate? He is Intimidate. Excellent. That's exactly what we want. That boosts our speed. We are going to hot swap Scyther for Clefable right now, since Typhoid Mary has become super powerful. And we're going to go for a Thunderbolt into that Milotic. Could be super dangerous because Milotic likes to carry the weakness policy, but we got to get rid of it. It's probably going to be a Dynamax into the Luxray, maybe? Could be Milotic too. Nope, it's going to be the Luxray. Now I imagine he'll target my Gothitelle, because it's supposed to be scary right now. Big Thunderbolt energy. Over half. No weakness policy proc. Going for the Muddy Water to drop our accuracy. Minimal damage. Now is he going for that? Ooh, Max Darkness into the Gothitelle. He's just trying to get rid of it right now. Not gonna happen. Alright, he's dropped our special D. Competitive proc again. And leftovers on the Milotic. Alright, so we're gonna swing into that Luxray. We may even Dynamax right now. I think that's actually a really good idea. We're at +4 on the Gothitelle. So we are going to follow me, and we're going to call an audible. And we're going to max lightning. Actually, we're going to call an audible and max overgrowth. Now we're going to go for the stab boosted. We're going to get this Luxray off the board right now. We're going to go for the max Mindstorm for the stab boosted +4 special attack into this giant kitty. If they're just going to make us big, we're just going to make them regret it. It's quite alright with us. This team is all about being able to call audibles that your opponent isn't going to expect and being able to take the advantage whenever it becomes available. And in that moment, it became available. He definitely expected to put Gothitelle out, but we are thick. Big Max Mindstorm coming up. Not even going to be enough. Not a +4. But we'll be protected from priority moves, and our psychic attacks will be boosted by 100%. Milotic is going to go for a recover. That doesn't matter. With our +2, we almost killed that Milotic, so we know right now that we can get it off the board pretty much whenever we want to. It's going to set up the electric terrain to remove our boost to our psychic attack, unfortunately. That Milotic is going to get thick to get that health back. But so is Clefable. Not nearly as much, but you know, he'll be fine. Alright, we're going to go for another Follow Me. And we're going to hit another Max Mindstorm, try and weaken his electric attacks coming out. Maybe we get big damage, maybe we don't. whether we kill him right now or not, our next attack is going to be the lightning into that Milotic. We don't get the KO, but we get that health down real low. Muddy Water comes out. Isn't going to be able to KO. Spookifer goes down. Good job, Clefable. You've done plenty. Alright, so he's changed the terrain back to lightning, and that's good for us. So we're going to throw Haxorus out right now so that we can first impression that Luxray to get it off the board. We're going to go for the big Max Lightning into that Milotic slot. We wouldn't be surprised to see that Milotic protect, but I think we might be able to KO even through the protect at +4. Luxray gets tiny. Going to go for that big first impression energy. Max Lightning into the Milotic. First impression goes off. It's going to be the end of the Luxray. We're faster with Milotic. We're faster than Milotic. Big Max Lightning for the KO. That's going to put us in a really good position. We're up 1 on our opponent right now. A Volcarona. And a Togekiss. So that's not exactly what he wants to see, I'm certain. I don't think we're faster than the Togekiss. We've only got the 1 speed boost. But we are going to swing into it regardless. We're going to try and get it off the board and leave that Volcarona alone. Volcarona goes for a protect. Big Iron Tail, but we miss. Thunderbolt goes up. I'm going to put that Togekiss right out. It's going to be really unfortunate for our opponent. They just happened to swing into something they thought they'd be able to get rid of, and it didn't go down. Giving it that extra +2 was definitely the wrong answer. He's going to Bug Buzz the Typhoid Mary off the battlefield, but I think it's too little too late. Big Dragon Claw coming up. Not quite a KO, but very close. Going to bury himself up. We're going to get Scyther out onto the field. Get our Dragon Claw up, and we're going to go for a dual Wing Beat directly into Volcarona. There's a Fairy Dance, Fiery Dance. Big damage into Scyther, but it's not going to be enough. And Volcarona goes down. GG's to our opponent. One simple mistake early on in the game can really cost you late in the game. Alright, welcome to the end of episode breakdown, where we talk about each Pokemon individually, where we put their EVs, why we put them there, what moves they have, and why we've given them to them. So we'll start with Icarus, our Scyther. We've given her the Eviolite because Scyther has base 80 in both of its defenses, and through the Eviolite, it gives it an extra half of its total base defenses to each of them. So that boosts it by 40 to 120 apiece. And we've almost fully invested in both of those. She is absolutely thick. She lives more hits than people expect, which is excellent. She gets Technician, which is going to be incredibly important because we've given her dual Wing Beat. It's a base 40 power move that hits twice. This just eliminates Whimsicott. Whimsicots like to carry that Focus Sash. They like to sit around on turn 1. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of Whimsicots that aren't respecting the turn 1 knockout, where they'll go for something else. They'll set something else up in the first turn, and then they'll go for the Tailwind with their priority on the next turn before they get knocked out. Scyther doesn't care about that. He says, we're going to get rid of you right now. We've got Fury Cutter, because It's also boosted by Technician at a base 40, but it becomes more powerful every time it hits. So we're making those first hits stronger, and then those later hits that happen get stronger on their own. We haven't had the opportunity too much to use it in Secession, but it's still good because it's a stab boosted move that's also Technician boosted, so we keep it around. We've given him agility. Scyther at +2 speed is faster than everything else in the meta, unless it gets +1. Like, unless they get +1, you're gonna outspeed. You're gonna outspeed them, and it's gonna feel really good. But if they get plus at all, you're not faster than them anymore, and it becomes a problem. But this agility allows us to be faster than the Inteleons, the Cinderaces. It lets us be faster than the Dracopults. That's extremely valuable to be able to get that hit in before they can. We've also given it Swords Dance to boost that physical attack stat by 2 stages, because we didn't invest completely in his attack. And we didn't invest completely in his attack because we needed to invest in his defenses, and honestly, I think we might have invested too much into his attack because we're going to go for a Swords Dance. She could probably stand to gain a little bit more in those defenses. But moving on, we've got Clefable. Clefable is an excellent Pokemon. To me, was a complete sweeper. We never expected to be using Clefable. Absolutely not. But we've given it leftovers so that it gets that extra sustain. It gets Magic Guard as an ability, so it says that it only takes damage from attacks. That is huge. That is huge. That means we don't care about getting poisoned. It means we don't care about G-Max Wildfire. We don't care about any of those max moves that set up damage that happens at the end of the turn every time. It doesn't matter because Clefable doesn't take that damage. It also works on Curse. Surprise. It also works on Curse. You won't take damage from Curse at all, because it's not an attack. After they've used it, it's not an attack anymore. We've invested primarily in his physical defense and his HP, and her physical defense and her HP, because we've given it a special defensive nature. We wanted to give the most spread that we could, and Clefable doesn't have the greatest defense, so we had to invest more in the defense so that it brought it up to where the special D could be with minimal investment. We've gone straight into HP to make it as thick as we possibly could. Clefable will live more hits than you expect, but at the same time, it gets knocked out to things that you wouldn't expect either. Like, you got to be careful. You got to understand why you're using the Clefable. You're going to click that follow me button so that you can draw aggro away from your other guys. Like, that's all Clefable is for. Draw aggro. It may not be the best at drawing aggro. There may be other guys out there that are thicker. But I like to use Clefable. It surprises me almost every game that I use it in. It's just a good bring. Moving on, we've got ourselves an Arcanine with a weakness policy. It's going to boost our attack and special attack by 2 stages if we're hit by a move we're weak to. So in order for us to have that and have it matter, we had to invest in our defenses. It was just absolutely necessary. But we've made this Arcanine into a cleric. Into a cleric of types. It's a battle cleric, a war priest, if you will. We've given it Snarl, and it comes with Intimidate. So when he enters the battlefield, he's going to lower your opponent's attack by a stage, and then you can just click the Snarl button, and then you're lowering that special attack. Is imperative. You're gonna mitigate so much damage through the use of this Arcanine set. It's just very helpful. We've given it extreme speed, so that it has that priority move if we need to just get a little bit of extra damage in there, then it works great. But if we've got the weakness policy proc up, we can rely on that extreme speed for even more priority damage to close the gap on even bigger Pokemon. Is extremely helpful. We had to invest in the special attack because we need Arcanine to deal damage. Fairthorn is a big thing in the meta. It does exist, so we've got that big flamethrower energy stab boosted off of this Arcanine. I've been nothing but pleased with the way this Arcanine has run. We've got Serena. Now the reason that we use Serena is we had an Indeedee in that slot before. The reason being we needed to stop priority moves. We needed to stop the priority moves, and Serena gets access to the ability Queenly Majesty, which does exactly that. So you can catch somebody on a switch in to stop a fake out, to stop a sucker punch, and a few other things. It can come in handy very well. You can chuck it out whenever they're using a Rillaboom on the grassy terrain to stop that grassy surge, or not the grassy surge, but the grass glide, I think it's called. We've given it the Power Herb. because Serena has, I think it's a base 120 physical attack stat. We did not invest in it well, we did invest in its physical attack, but not as much as we would like. We're not utilizing that physical attack as much as we need to, and honestly, to make her thicker, we could probably pull even more from that. But we've given it the power herb so that it can use that solar blade in the first turn and get massive damage off. That's 125 power attack that does hit every time, but that's also going to allow us to get access to acrobatics. It's going to help us with acrobatics because acrobatics does double damage if you've used your item, and our item happens to let us use that power up move on the first turn without having to power up. So we're going to get access to acrobatics pretty much immediately. We've kept Sunny Day, or we put Sunny Day on this Pokemon so that we can mess with other terrain setters. You're going to see a lot of rain in this competitive meta coming up this season, and so I needed something on this team that could say, no, that's not the weather. No, that's not the weather, because all of our Dynamax Pokemon don't really care about the weather. They care about passing out boosts. We'll get into that here in a moment. So Sunny Day is going to help us get rid of the rain. It's going to help us get rid of hail. It's going to help us get rid of sandstorms. It's not useful every time, but it is useful sometimes, and that's why it's there. Moving on to Haxorus. This right here is my absolute favorite Pokemon. I spent probably 10 to 15 hours building just this Haxorus after I beat the game several hundred hours of Pokemon ago. He's so good. He's so good. I believe that this is easily the best Haxorus set out there. And if you disagree with me, send me your Haxorus set. Send me your Haxorus set and we'll see. But we're max invested in speed with a Jolly Nature. I believe it is a Jolly Nature. Well, it says Adamant there because that's what he was born with. But we've got a special attack decreased, a speed increased nature because we use Mold Breaker ability. We need to be faster than the Mimikyus. We need to be faster than the Rotoms. Mimikyu is only 1 point in base speed slower than Haxorus. So if we don't max out our investment, then that Mimikyu can get off and do something crazy. We don't want that. Mold Breaker says that the abilities those Pokemon have, like Levitate and Decoy or Disguise, don't work. There's a massive list of abilities that Mold Breaker doesn't care about. I highly encourage you going to look at it because I promise you it's more than you thought it was. It's absolutely more than you thought it was. We've given him the Life Orb so that he gets that boosted attack. That's why we invested in his HP. It's because if he's going to be taking his own HP down, we need to be mitigating that as much as we can. All of his moves do something incredible in Dynamax. All of them working together on Haxorus make him as dangerous as he is. So Dragon Claw is a stab attack that he'll get access to just regularly, but that turns into Max Wormwind. Max Wormwind drops the attack stat of the opposing Pokemon by 1 stage. Iron Tail turns into Max Steel Spike, and that raises our defenses by a stage. Earthquake turns into Max Quake, which raises our special defense by a stage, and First Impression turns into the Max Bug Attack that lowers our opponent's special attack by a stage. So Haxorus is an excellent Dynamax Pokemon for sustainability. If you have somebody else on the battlefield that you want to be a little thicker or you don't want to take as much damage, pair him with Haxorus. Click the Dynamax button. That's going to make 2 things happen. That's going to make your opponent say, oh crap, that's a big dragon. And they're going to focus on that. They're going to focus on that because it's the biggest threat on the battlefield. It's the biggest threat on the battlefield and he's very scary. But that's also going to allow you to pass out boosts and debuffs as you need them from turn to turn. Like, you don't have to worry about, oh crap, I need a special deboost. You can give yourself that special deboost. And the next turn comes out because you've one hit, because Haxorus often does just one hit Pokemon. Oh crap, now I need that defense boost. Or I need that, I could probably just drop their attack, go for stab damage on that Max Wormwind. He's very good. Haxorus is a very good Pokemon, and I encourage everyone to try and utilize him. He's a very good addition to just about any team. We've got ourselves a Gothitelle, and this was an interesting ad. We were looking for something that could help, because this team doesn't like to be intimidated. This team does not like to get intimidated at all. That can devastate the Scyther. That will devastate the Haxorus. Haxorus doesn't. It needs to be able to do all of the damage that it's doing, and so if any of that gets mitigated, it's not good. If it gets reduced at all, it's not good. So we've given ourselves a competitive Pokemon on the team. here in our Gothitelle. We've also given it the Adrenaline Orb so that we get the most out of hunting to get intimidated. This is going to give us a boost in our speed stat, but it's also going to give us +2 in our special attack stat. If we can switch it in to get intimidated, then it's an excellent Pokemon. They're very thick, all on their own. They're very thick, so you don't need massive investment in their attack stat. You can rely on that competitive proc. It's not great on its own, but we've given it Taunt so that we can stop some of those Trick Room users. It lets us stop a few other Pokemon from using shenanigans. Thunderbolt and Energy Ball for coverage moves. We didn't have an electric Pokemon on this team, but electric is super effective against enough stuff in the meta that it's necessary for us to have at least an electric move. Energy Ball is good because because rain teams are everywhere. You need to have good counters to that. We have Serena, but you can't rely on just one. So the coverage here is good, and we've given it Psychic for its stab boosted attack. This is really just for tech to help us against those Intimidate Pokemon. But that's the team. I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Please drop a like, drop a comment telling me what you thought about this team, what you think is wrong with it, what you think is right with it. Don't forget to hop on over to the Twitch channel at pumpkinhydra.twitch.tv. Come check us out. We stream basically every day, but definitely every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 9 o'clock in the afternoon. I believe Eastern Standard Time. So don't hesitate to stop on by. We'd love to have you. Ask me any questions you like, and we do viewer battles pretty regularly. So if you've got a wild hair somewhere and you decide that you wanna challenge me to a battle, I would love to fight you. We'll see you next time. Until then, peace.